guys, welcome to the first episode of my top 5 shows, something I'm going to try to do every week where I just pick a random topic and give my top 5. Pretty simple. The first episode, I'm going to do my top 5 underknown movies. So, underknown being movies that I love that I just never hear anybody talk about. Like, nobody has seen it or nobody knows what it is. And keep in mind that anything that I put on my list of top 5s, these are my picks. This is not me saying that these are the 5 greatest movies ever made from the beginning of time. These are just, from my collection of movies, these are 5 picks that I just never hear anybody talk about whenever I bring it up. So, I'm going to start off with number 5, which is 2008's Sex Drive. Now, Sex Drive was written and directed by Sean Anders. Sean Anders went on to direct Horrible Bosses 2, Daddy's Home, and That's My Boy. Not the best resume of movies, but Sex Drive is hilarious. Sex Drive follows, you got Josh Zuckerman, who plays the character Ian, and Ian is basically like the stereotypical virgin. He never thinks he's going to lose his virginity. He has a crush on his best friend, played by Amanda Crew. Her name's Felicia. He's got the best friend, Lance, played by Clark Duke. He's the kid that you see in like the Hot Tub Time Machine movies. And Lance is basically like the ladies' man, and always gets all the women, and Ian gets none of them. So Ian basically is using, he's on like a Match.com type of thing with this girl, with her screen name Miss Tasty. So him and Miss Tasty have been talking back and forth, and Miss Tasty finally messages him and says, "Listen, why don't you bring your car down to, I believe they go down to Kentucky." Actually, no, it's Knoxville. So she's in Knoxville, and she says, "Hey, bring your car all the way up to Knoxville to see me, and when you get here, I'll sleep with you," more or less. And so basically, it's like a road trip sex comedy. And James Marsden, who plays like a Cyclops in the X-Men movies, he's been in some other things. He plays his older brother Rex, and probably the funniest damn role in one of these sex comedies you're ever gonna see. He puts Stifler to shame. He's so fucking funny. And then Seth Green also has a decent sized role as this Amish guy named Ezekiel. So the whole movie basically is these 3 kids. He steals his brother's GTO Judge, and they go on a road trip, and crazy things happen along the way to him getting to Knoxville to lose his virginity. Like I said, me and my younger brother Dylan, every time he comes to town, almost without exception, we always pop this movie in and just die laughing every single time. Anybody I've watched this movie with just dies laughing, like, how have I not, where has this movie been? Now, one thing I will tell you, if you do go pick up this movie, it's on Blu-ray. There's 2 different versions of the movie. There's the theatrical cut and there's the unrated cut. Now, usually the unrated cut is the more extreme of the 2, and most people end up just watching the unrated cut. Now, this movie's got a very weird unrated cut. It's not like an extended, raunchier, just a few more F-bombs version of the movie. It's got like, they got random just nudity just thrown in. They've got like outtakes that are thrown in there. I mean, it's very funny if you're a fan of the movie, but do not watch the unrated version first because you won't understand what's going on. It's more like a fan service unrated movie that you watch just if you're drunk, I guess. But definitely check out Sex Drive if you like sex-type comedies. Now, number 4 is from 2007. It's The Lookout. The Lookout is written and directed by Scott Frank, and the only other movie he's gone on to direct so far is A Walk Among the Tombstones, the Liam Neeson movie. It stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Chris Pratt, Jeff Daniels as his blind roommate Lewis, Matthew Good as kind of the villain of the movie Gary Spargo, and then Isla Fisher. The Lookout is a very, very cool, kind of like a suspense thriller. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like this real big hockey college star, and at the very beginning of the movie he gets into a horrible car accident with 3 of his friends. They get killed, and he ends up with brain damage that gives him short-term memory loss. So then about a year or so later, the movie is when the story of the movie picks up, and he's out of college. He's kind of a nobody. He works moonlighting, like midnight shifts, cleaning up a bank, and it shows a lot of like the hardships that somebody with a brain injury like that goes through. And then this guy, Gary Spargo, just kind of comes into his life like, hey, man, I used to know you whenever you were in high school. You were in college. You were great. And starts befriending him. And without giving too much of the movie away, Gary has some ulterior motives for befriending Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. Joseph Gordon-Levitt always gives an awesome performance. He does really well in this. I think I read that he had, to portray somebody who has that kind of a brain injury, like just constant exhaustion trying to keep up with what's going on in the world, he would like work out before going on to set, and he would deprive himself of sleep to kind of portray that tired, always kind of confused look. Jeff Daniels has got an awesome role. Very, very cool movie. It is on Blu-ray. If you go check it out, you will like it a lot if you like suspenseful type movies where you don't quite know where it's going. So go check out The Lookout. My number 3 is going to be also from 2007. There's a lot of good movies in 2007. Death Sentence. Now this is directed by James Wan. It's so far, well, before he directed Furious 7, this was the only like non-horror movie that he had directed. He directed this after he did Saw, and then he directed Dead Silence, and then he did this Death Sentence. Death Sentence follows Kevin Bacon, and he plays the character Nick Hume. He's like a corporate businessman. Kelly Preston plays his wife, and basically he's driving home from a hockey game with his son, and his son gets murdered in like a gang initiation. And at the trial for his son's murder, he testifies and lets the killer leave so that he can kill him himself. And the whole movie is is basically about the gang coming after Kevin Bacon and his family. And it's a very badass, dark, gritty, bloody action revenge movie. It's loosely based off of the book with the same name, which is actually a direct sequel to the Death Wish novel. So if you know what Death Wish is, Death Sentence is kind of like a new age version of that with Kevin Bacon. Garrett Hedlund plays the main villain, Billy Darley. John Goodman's got a small role, and a few other actors in there that you've seen before, some Aisha Taylor and a couple other people. But James Wan directs some badass action scenes in this. If you're a James Wan fan, if you're a fan of like action thrillers, definitely check out Death Sentence. Alright, my number 2 is Rudderless. Now, this actually came out in 2014, and it's the directorial debut of William H. Macy. Now, everybody, whether you recognize the name William H. Macy or not, you know who this guy is. He's been an actor in a ton of movies. He's been around forever. Most recently, he's probably best known if you are a fan of Shameless. He's the one who plays Frank. Like everybody knows who William H. Macy is. If you Google him, I guarantee you'll recognize his face. So he directed this. He has a small role in it as a bar owner. But this movie stars Billy Crudup, Anton Yelchin, who we unfortunately just lost this past week. He was a great talent. Felicity Huffman, and Lawrence Fishburne. Now, the movie basically follows Billy Crudup as he plays a man named Sam Parker. And the beginning of the movie, his son gets killed in a school shooting. So it fast forwards a few years. He's like a big corporate businessman. And it fast forwards a few years, and he's just let his life go completely to shit. He lives in a boat. He just kind of does little odd jobs around town. He's a drunk. He just has no will to live whatsoever. And his wife, played by Felicity Huffman, brings him some of his son's stuff that she's cleaning out finally. And in this box, he finds some music that his son had recorded before he died. And so he starts going through, not even knowing that his son was, like a musical talent. He starts listening and reading some of these songs that his son wrote and recorded. And he takes one and goes to the bar that William H. Macy owns and plays one of them, taking credit for the song. And just kind of doing it just out of boredom, I guess. And then the song inspires Anton Yelchin, who plays a young kid named Quentin. And he starts coming to Sam's boat, telling, hey, man, we got to make a band. That song was amazing. That song was great. And so slowly he starts playing more of his son's songs with Anton Yelchin and eventually a couple more guys where they form a band. So he basically starts playing these songs that his deceased son wrote and claiming them as his own. And in the process, basically finding his will to live again. And there's a very big twist to about 2/3 of the way through the movie that's a very big gut punch. It's a really emotional, thought-provoking movie. William H. Macy does an awesome job. Billy Crudup does phenomenal. He actually plays the guitar and sings on every song that you see him play in the movie. It's actually him. He bought a guitar after the movie Almost Famous, and he records and plays every song in the movie. And the movie has a lot of great music. I'm not really a folk music guy, but the music that they have in this movie, and I'm not sure. I think William H. Macy helped write a lot of it. If not, maybe he wrote one or two of the songs, but there's some great music in this movie. Give Rudderless a chance, because it's one of those movies that came out, and I think I saw it on YouTube or something, and I just gave it a chance because I like William H. Macy. And this is a movie that totally just flew under the radar. I've never heard anybody mention it, but it's one of the most powerful movies that you can watch if you're a fan of music. So give it a chance. I guarantee you will walk away happy. Now for the number one. And this is a movie that me and my dad have always loved. We have always been shocked at the number of people that just do not know that this movie exists. Dutch, from 1991. So, John Hughes, basically the king of the 80s. Everybody knows who John Hughes is. If you know, Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, Uncle Buck, Ferris Bueller, that's John Hughes. This is John Hughes. I think this is the only movie that he didn't direct that he wrote. I could be wrong, but it's written by John Hughes and directed by Peter Feynman. But it feels just like every other John Hughes movie, so he might as well have directed it. It stars Ed O'Neill as the main character, Dutch Dooley, Ethan Embry as Doyle Standish, who's the little kid, Jo Beth Williams, and Christopher McDonald. So everybody knows Christopher McDonald is Shooter McGavin. So Ed O'Neill is basically playing this guy. He's dating Jo Beth Williams, who's divorced from Christopher McDonald, who's this asshole rich snob. And the son is exactly the same. He's just a little rich prick. And she wants her son to come home for Thanksgiving from his private school, but the son won't come home because he blames Jo Beth Williams for their divorce. So she sends Ed O'Neill across the country to go pick him up, and Ed O'Neill is bringing him back for Thanksgiving. And when Ed O'Neill is this, working class, take no shit kind of guy, and when he meets Ethan Embry, who's the most spoiled little shithead rich kid that you can see on the TV screen, their road trip back is just fucking hilarious. From the time that they meet each other till the time till the movie ends, it's just laugh after laugh after laugh. I'll go out and say it. This is probably my favorite of John Hughes' movies. This is the one that I go back to the most and the one that I recommend the most. I mean, everybody loves Uncle Buck and Breakfast Club and everything, but Dutch has always been, it's always had a kind of special place in my heart. So if you love John Hughes movies, if you love Breakfast Club, if you love Uncle Buck, movies of that nature, go out and get Dutch. It did come out on Blu-ray not too long ago, but it's also on... it is on Netflix, so you can even watch it for free if you have Netflix. But one of the funniest movies that you will ever find. So that is my first episode of my top 5, guys. Go ahead and comment below with your top 5 Underknown movies, or if you know one of the 5 movies I've talked about that you love too or don't love. Go ahead and throw your 2 cents in there, and I will see you guys on the next one.